Hi everyone, welcome back. I had to put this up today. It's just crazy, right? It's crazy what's going on out there. So it's probably going to be an hour long, guys, so just brace yourself because I do have a few clips and we'll go back into the law stuff with all the stuff that I put up in regard to yesterday. If you're we're going to go into some of the corresponding laws that support what we're doing as far as the 1099s. There's some people taking care of their bills with $1 postal money orders, guys. I was watching a video yesterday. I'm taking all of the notes, and they go through the CPA books and stuff that the accountants use. So really, really fascinating stuff. So when you are using the codes, don't cite the codes, but I'll show you, like when you scroll down, it'll say public law, see public. You would want to use like those references because the codes are for the corporation. Okay, just whatever. So if anybody's out there who drinks a lot of tea or cafe, as they say, make sure you have one right now because it's going to be a doozy. I'm like, you can't make this stuff up. So a lot of us, we get up in the middle of the night. I guess it comes with age, right? Squirrel bladder, guilty as charged. So I got up at like 3, 4. I can hear my husband get up for work. God bless him. He gets up at like 4, right? And I couldn't sleep for a little while. The moon was really, again, going to go into this, how the whole world's led astray. It's all about, again, we're dealing with angel worship. We're dealing with a spiritual war because so many things are lining up. And couldn't sleep. I've been having the craziest dreams. But anyways, I don't really dissect them like that, right? You can get all over the place. But sometimes things stick out or whatever. But I was like really restless, and everyone's talking about Valentine's Day yesterday. I got so many things open. I don't know where to even put it. Because, Lupercalia. And I was like, damn, there's probably all kind of like sacrifices right now. Like, I'm probably like one of those cats. You know how they say like you can bring certain cats to an ER or a hospice, and they'll sit right on the patient when they know they're gonna die. And it's just weird, right? It's just like you could just like, I feel so much anxiety because I could just feel shit going on. Like I just know behind the curtain, right? Because the history with Valentine's Day and the blood, I'll read a little bit after. I just got like freaking 30 tabs open. I like to give a visual, because there's so much going on. And, I was watching some vids last night. I watched one this morning as I was waking up. Sometimes, when you wake up, have a coffee, and you just like a minute to whatever. So I'll sit and chill for a half hour. So, learning some of this historical stuff that's out there. And I'm just like, this stuff is just too wild. We'll go into that after, but that's why you're feeling this creepy energy. And the moon was full, and goes with my name. My name is Diana. A lot of people know me by that, but you have to be careful with identifying yourself, all the way. Like, I talk about my surname. I have nothing to hide. I mean, I am who I am, right? It is what it is. And this is becoming such a spiritual battle. I'm on Facebook because I have a Facebook with Dash. I had to make like a whole new persona. So I have an Alpha 7 Media because I had a Noble Scribe channel, but it's not like you can just use the same name. So I was just like, I'm going to make another name. You're not going to use your freaking government name. Everyone's using like shortened versions. Everyone that I see, they got like a nickname or a pseudonym, and that's how you're supposed to do. That's like your business forum, So, obviously the D, some people say, I've been called Diani. I think that's cute. I like the D better, like the die, because people would be like, Diane, like, shut your hole. But, okay, Christianity and the angel worship. Where do I even begin? This is going to bring some things to light, too. I'm going to show a clip from this Facebook thing, because there's a lot of characters on Facebook. A lot of people maybe on YouTube don't hear about this, but as an independent reporter, as I've always been, it was my toolbox, guys. I was talking about UV light, how us indigos, we have a certain wavelength. And I actually bought, you see the purple? Does it show up on the camera? So we're going to put some light on this, right? Got this for several. I'm really like an investigator. You should see some of the weird tools I have. And you can see like documents, a passport ID and all that. And you can just see things that, are not to the naked eye, right? Because I talk about my story, how I was raised in the Seventh-day Adventist church. And it's like, a lot of these churches, they're gateways. So I will say that much, I can tell, right? I mean, I didn't know any better. I was a child. Me and my cousin, we used to sing in the Christian church, because we were forced. Her mother used to whip her ass if she went there, right? My mother used to give me what they call those mean Portuguese pinches. Yeah, man, that's why I don't like the freaking Portuguese culture. They're freaking mean as shit. Because, if you talk to, you don't mean to, but it's like the rituals that they call services are like 4 hours long. Like, they make you go there for by 9 something, and then you're there till 2 or 1. It's like it's crazy. It's too much. It's mind numbing, right? Especially for children, even if they send you in those horrible rooms, the soundproof rooms, right? None of it is fun, and you never get any. You just get this, and then I seen this picture, right, with the red and white, and I was going into how Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt, it's all about those colors. So I was raised in this church. So this is a spiritual war. Has nothing to do even with skin color anymore. Yes, the Israelites, of course, they're God's people or whatever. I'm not an expert to tell who's who's Moab. I can tell some who are obviously Moabites and stuff, So I'm going to show an example of how there is 2 groups at play, because you got your characters who are pushing angel worship, the host of heaven. Like your YouTube people, right? When you come on their channel, they're a host of their YouTube channel. You're not going to worship them, right? It's like when they talk about this Jesus character, whatever, you start getting more layers, because I looked at one of my vids that I did months ago with, and I put a clip with Taj Tariq Bey, and he said, Jesus is justice, just means justice. Another YouTuber, Chris, who's really nice, kind, nice means foolish, sorry, I gotta get my words on point. He had a vid called Lady Justice. So I'm thinking, lady, there's a lot of weird connotations, right? Because these are like Gnostics we're talking about, because Jesus is very, in this picture, right? And I was saying how there's so much confusion that in the Seventh-day Adventist church, right, they would do some Hebrew laws, like we observed the Sabbath, but it was the fake Sabbath. They worship Saturn, Saturnalia, Saturday. You don't go by the Gregorian calendar. And we didn't eat pork. Certain things like that. But everything else, come on. So it's a gateway. You'll see a lot of people kind of go either into, figure out, like read for themselves, stop looking at these pastors, these gurus as your Lord, okay, and then become their savior or whatever. The Most High, like I said, should be your ultimate guru. So let's just try to go back into this, because I just wanted to show, before I lose all my thoughts, because totally ADHD, especially when it comes to this, because you got the Lady Justice, right? It always brings you to that. The Seventh-day Adventist church, it's like, you can either figure out the Bible, learn for yourself, and go down the Israelite road into the real Most High, like I ended up going. Or you can end up in these prosperity churches, because they go from the Seventh-day Adventists to aligning themselves with the big denominations that even go on Sunday. So you're like, all right, that's already a step back, not a step forward, right? So I feel like it's almost like a gateway. And Florida is a huge hotspot. I mean, there's so many Scientology, and then I'm just weird with words, The Most High will have us think about certain things at certain times, for whatever, so we all can, kind of think about things a little differently. But like Church of Scientology, because I was digging into Scientology like a couple of years back, like really digging into it. And you see, it's like this craziest cult, right? Like they really control your whole life. And I felt like I was in that, like when I was on my spiritual awakening, you know, to get to the Most High. Because you got these witches calling themselves spiritual now, right? You got these demonic people, they're spiritual. I understand that, yeah. They will push it so hard, and it's like, it's all about miracles and signs and wonders. Like a lot of us don't have a staff like Moses. I can't turn it into a snake and gobble up. All we can do is take our truth and have it gobble up their lies. That's how I look at it. That's how it's going to have to be, right? Because they want signs and wonders, and they forget their so-called Lord also says, this wicked generation seeks a sign, right? What they're going to get. You know, you go look that up. But there's this radio station, I guess it's in Florida, because I seen this just because I was online. I haven't talked to my mother in 2 years. These are all like really voodoo witch energy. Like anytime I am around them, it's like, I felt like, you know that scene in The Little Mermaid, how they like shrivel up and they're all under sea, you know? And then I was like, the spell was broken and I was back to myself. Like, it was really that bad. And they stalk you. They call you the devil for having the truth. And I'm going to show you they come in both shades. I'm not sure if this is a Moabitess or whatever. But my mother shared this thing. And I'm like, of course this was going to happen like this. Like, why wouldn't it? Like, why wouldn't it happen like this, right? So you're going to be like in the truth with, or so-called, right? With your family. It could be your bestie. It could be your brother, your sister. Because this character was like a sister to me. This is my cousin who now is becoming like a prophetess, you know. It's funny because when I was trying to wake up to the truth, this is a radio station, WAPN 91.5, Holy Hell, maybe. This is a page on Facebook. You can come check them out. They have a lot of stuff. Public, Pastor Jim, Raleigh Calvary, Christian Church, all these weird named churches too. That wasn't even nothing. True North Church. That's awful. I actually started a private trust that's called True North, but it's already taken. Like, even with my Alpha 7, like, it's really hard to find like original names, because it took me forever to say not available for like the first 100 times. It's like crazy, right? Because there's so much out there. Then when you do find a name, you find out there's like others similar. You're like, what the hell? It's just like when you pick your child's name too. I thought my daughter's name was so original until I heard like other people have it. Super Sunday. And just like the type of stuff they have is just unbelievable. So this was only less than 24 hours ago. So the point is, when you're trying to talk about the Most High, like we stopped talking like a little bit after I was done with the GOCC, and I went on to Lex's channel or what I was learning from that. And of course, these are people it's like I said, people are competitive. Like when I was trying to put up truth and trying to be like, hey, we could have been lied to, this and that. Where the hell is it? It'll be on my mom's page. I just wanted to keep her stuff private. And they didn't want to hear it. And I'm only showing her this stuff because she would love to be infamous. People are going to use like religion. And I'm going to just show some connections too, because it was very interesting. And some of the names came up, who they're worshiping. And again, it goes back to Egyptian law. And then, it was just like, what the hell are you talking about? And with your stuff, they won't share or anything. They'll always like mock and pick at it. And you can see that it's like, oh, it's more of a competition, not about getting to the truth. So now this person found their forum, and they start off really, oh, sweetest pie, like, because they're one of those that if you even say the F word around them, like hello, that could be like a word in German, like shut the hell up, like you act so dainty. But this is the same person who comes to visit and puts a Bible in their car thinking someone in my area is going to rob them when they were born and raised in the same town. I'm like, it's so awful. Teddy, but as I say, I'll show you a little French. I took 3 years of French when I was in 6th grade because I was such a good student. They put me in there. It was either that or Spanish. I can't really keep up with Spanish. That's definitely... It's funny. It's so different than Portuguese. My mom can understand Spanish. I can't understand it. Some words, French is just a little, because I took it in middle school. Some of it stuck. But so me and her were, supposedly on the same team. So this is for anybody out there. You're going through it. This is just the culmination of what can happen. You're going to go in different directions because it was getting to the point where I was like, it sounds like we're just on different teams. Like I said, it is a spiritual thing. And there's some things that they say that I'll use that actually was true. It was like, yeah, we need to come together. I'm like, the fallen have their army, right, of like-minded folk. The Most High needs his army of like-minded folk. And they come in all shades, right? Because you're going to see this. And she don't mind being infamous because, she'll make everything about her, even if your father passes away, which she did in my instance. And I was like, ride or die for this girl. This was up until 2 years ago, and I'm 43, she's 41, you know what I mean? We were raised together almost, always at her house. She was always at my house. We were really all into this stuff, but you start to see who's your frenemy, who's really for you, because I started to see, and my mom only, and my mom did a lot of her things too, and like I said, I compare her to Tira with Abraham, because I get persecuted a lot for speaking truth, right? And I don't think I'm going to have that moment. I don't think they're ever going to wake up, because now it's going full. I'm like, I seen this, I'm like, I didn't just see this, how does this happen, with the day with so much spiritual energy, right? All right, I'm going to just stop rambling, let you hear what the hell got me all ramped up. I'm going to try to bring it back and see if I can blow it up. This is on their thing. It's public, so I should be able to use it. This is their first episode, so they're probably going to have more. Oh, terrible. Let's see if we can get the volume to go.
Beautiful weekend. My name is Christie. Today is our very first time on the air with our official Miracle Mondays.
Miracle Mondays, y'all. Trying to get it big for you. All right, let's go. This is her, my cousin.
I am gathered today.
Oh boy. You got my other troll cousin. Great job.
With my beautiful Pastor Victoria Williams with Scripture and Structure Worldwide Ministries, and Josh is here as well. We are here for one purpose, to glorify the Lord. And we are so excited to be doing this. I had a few weeks ago just an urgency in my spirit that the Lord was telling me to start sharing testimonies. I meet a lot of people, and I said, Lord,
Of course, she's a realtor. So this is where we had the dichotomy, because I studied law, and then I seen how we are the originators of all these loans, and they forge our name. They enrich themselves, right? And so and we're part of the same so-called clan. This is my first cousin on my mother's side. I don't know my dad's side as much as I would like to, but again, my mother's side, they're off the deep end, so I can't, So you have to be strong, because this is in itself is an example. This is real-time stuff. This was just posted yesterday, and it came up. Of course, my mother's sharing, she's cheesing, and I'm like, yeah, because they're part of the same cult, part of the same hive mind. Okay, their master blows a certain whistle and they listen. Okay, and she was such a copycat. I wish she copied me for all the right stuff. I would have loved that. I love copycats if you're copying my righteousness, you know what I mean? Because when I was in my wicked stages, everybody wanted to copy the stuff I was doing, including her fake breasts, which I got mine removed. I got them, then she felt like she had to get them, and I told her that's really toxic. The Most High don't want you to have body modifications. How are you going to face them after your body decomposes with all this stuff? And You know what I mean? And it messes with your head. It really like clouds your judgment, and it makes, so whatever. But she didn't want to hear me. Not, that's her body. That's fine. But I'm like, wow, but you don't know how to copy people when it's righteous. So it's like, so they give glory to so-called the Most High, but their glory came from, Hallel. They even call them out. Hallelujah. Where's the origin of that? Hallel. But they give them a lot of names, and they call out like 5 different names, like all in this thing. I'm not going to show you the whole thing, just like the beginning and the end, where it really I'm just like, hey, this just, why I even went to look is beyond me. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'll look at this stuff just to see if they smartened up, just because I don't want to talk to them doesn't mean like I don't care like what happens to them. But at the same time, you're just like, wow. And she did a lot of missionaries in Africa. She went to our so-called homelands over there. She didn't even realize. And I was trying to put her onto a little history, even though I'm a bit green myself. But like when you see the terms that they, use like amen at the end of these prayers, you think of like a lot of these deities in Egypt. And Egypt, of course, is in Africa. Africa is full of Christian churches, you name it, right? And there's a lot of Christian missionaries over there. And she went over there for that. Interesting.
Live on the air, and he said yes. And I waited a little while, and finally I just said, okay, Lord, let's do it. And I, of course I was saying, Lord, I'm not a pastor, I'm not a preacher. And he said, no, but you are a willing and able vessel, and that is all I need. So I said, okay, let's do it. So I just want to let everybody know that this morning, as I was on my way here, I passed a sign in somebody's yard that said, and I'm going to, if you're on Facebook Live, we'll go ahead and put it near live, but it said, coming soon, miracle. So I said, glory to God, because that's pretty powerful. Here we are doing Miracle Mondays, and I passed a sign that's saying, coming soon, miracle. So I just think that's amazing. I want to bring in this morning with Psalms 103. So we could just... All right, here we go. So, bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits, who forgives all of your iniquities, who heals all of your diseases, who redeems your life from destruction, who crowns you with loving kindness and tender mercies, who satisfies your mouth with good things, so that your youth is renewed like eagles. Amen to that. Amen. All right. So this morning, I have Pastor Victoria here, and she has an incredible testimony, which that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be sharing testimonies. As we know in Revelation 12:11, the word says, and they overcame him by the word of their testimony, and they did not love their lives to death. So, as we know, things happen in this life, but every single thing that happens is an opportunity for us to trust the Lord. If I'm being completely transparent with you, there's things in my life that I'm waiting on God to do. And He will do it. He will do it because He is not a God that He shall lie. And He is faithful. And the Lord had to remind me, Christie, did I not answer so many of your prayers? Have I not given you everything you have? Are you hungry? Do you not have a roof over your head? Do you not have the things that, I have supplied all your needs? So every situation that we go through is really just an opportunity for us to wait on God, because He wants to hear, as we just read in Psalms 103, He is the God who forgives all your iniquities. He is the God who heals all your diseases. He is the God that he does it all. No good thing will He withhold from us. All we have to do is believe. So I'm going to just be believing with you this morning. Whatever it is that you are believing God for, I don't think it was a coincidence that I passed this business sign that said coming soon miracle before I came to the studio. So I definitely believe that God wants this morning for you to be bold, for you to be brave, and to just come to him and ask him whatever it is you're facing.
Be bold. Be brave. I don't even know what to say about all that, guys. They want a sign. Wicked, adulterous generation who seeks not the Most High's laws, but just to believe. Click your heels, Dorothy. And that's all it was with this person. That's why with some people, you can give them a silver or gold coin and they would throw it in the trash. You can't throw your pearls to swine, since everybody wants to use cliches, right? You need to know how to find value when it's in front of you. Because I found the value in some of the teachers I was led to. I was trying to wake her up to it. And they want to seek miracles. They want magic tricks. They want to pull something out of their sleeve. And with the flowers, you know what I mean? Be careful too, because they're going to do a little chant at the end, which I just going to show you a little bit just to hear. I know this is like hurting my ears too, because it's just so, it's like, have you been sucking on the lithium? It's like, just believe. This is the craziness of these churches. And they come and bullshit. I'm not sure if she's Moabite because of the hair. I know it's a bit straight. Okay. But it shows you how some of these groups come together and they're preaching the bullshit and they can't see the value of like certain people, because I'm showing my stuff and they were like, they didn't want nothing to do with it. But they were trying to put me onto this character. I don't know if anybody knows Jenny Weaver with the leprosy all over. Needs to go see a Levite priest to be cleaned. Doing that Jesus pose. So this one's really big on Facebook. Has their own. So these are like becoming witches. Okay. That's why I don't go so into certain topics. Because of course the men of Israel are supposed to come and teach. So I'll listen to the Israelite teachers. That's what I was trying to convey to her. Like, you need to, so when I was going through my stages of waking up, it goes through stages. So when you're coming out of the so-called white Christian church, you're kind of led to melanated groups that know about, their heritage, and they get away from the pagan days. And then I got away from those that were following Jesus to just, doing my own thing. I was never officially part of anything, because I just was made to go to the Seventh-day Adventist church since I was little, and I became a robot, even bringing my children up until probably my early 30s, okay? So, like, it becomes like this, because now I have my cousins are all Pentecostal, all charismatic, all prosperity. And it's all about, you guys, seeing is believing. If you're not instantly prosperous, they want that quick fix, like the mind of the Egyptians again. So it became really, really ugly. We used to fight really bad, and she was backbiting me, smiling in my face, picking on my relationship. That's how you can tell. When I talk about covert narcissists, I talk about how they're very prone to going in these churches. So when you get women who are like, I am your seer, I am your prophetess, like, you know what I mean? I don't claim to be anybody. I'm just here showing the truth, and I lead people down that road, because we got to combat this witchcraft, guys. Like, this shit is getting ugly. I don't even know where to start. We can go a little bit here just to show, like, there is a justice and a liberty. I didn't know that. Guys. Lady Justice location, because I was thinking about Lady Justice. Then, you got even the Moors say, hey, Jesus was another name for justice. You think about Justinian, and then Justinian deception. There are articles on that. It goes back to how they've enslaved the people. So I guess they're like parallel toward each other, and they call it the gateway to the USA. So you got Liberty Island and you got Justice Island. I didn't know. You got like two idols facing each other. That's pretty wild, right? So when I was doing my own research, let me just, I'll go back to their craziness, because when I was doing my other research with the Greek stuff and we were all down there, I was led to some of these, because was it this one? No. It was the Amun one first, probably. Amun, because they're like, Amun. After every little thing, I wanted to see if I had it open. So it's right here. Egyptian and Berber deity. Oh. Wow, wow, wow. What do we got here, y'all? Some connections, you know. I should have been we should be private detectives. I am a private detective. So I got a lot of real so-called justice in my life, right? People try you in all kind of ways, guys. You know, you gotta just see it coming. So you see this Amun, they're always like, oh, we're going to read a little bit out of Psalms, giving praise to the Most High. And I don't ascribe any of the promises that belong to Israel to me, the Gentile, like these churches do. Because she would do that, and they continue to do that. They take the promise. So I know the delineation, and I have the said respect, you know. But not all Gentiles are cast off into hell, because a lot of them do the Most High's will. And if we're doomed at the end, we're doomed at the end. But my love for the Most High is not gonna, throw me off the course, because I'm worried about my end. Because you shouldn't be worried about your end if it's, So you got this character, so I'm like, of course. So it's probably this, when they talk about the melanated Jesus. This is the melanated Jesus, I'm sure. And you got the hat, almost like that Nimrod hat, right? Because it's like so tall, like that fish hat, like the Pope wears and all them. And the Ankh is everywhere. So we see certain groups, so this Amun character that they actually don't realize they're worshiping. And it just shows you some of the links that I went to. And it says Amun. I know you guys like it a little bigger. Why not? Why not, you guys? I hope you're having a wonderful day. I like chatting with you all. You guys are, some of the real ones. My motto for this channel was like the real world show, where people stop being polite and start getting real. The real world. Fall River. I should put Fall River, Massachusetts. There's a Richie from Boston that has a YouTube channel, but he went into the Jesus stuff. So I stopped listening to him, but he exposes some of the, crimes against humanity and whatnot. So Amun is an old Egyptian and early Middle Egyptian, also Greek. You got the Coptic all coming together, because I noticed in Africa, big with the Christianity. You can see even some of their structures, and you got a lot of these Christian church. I'm like, why are they so obsessed always going to Africa all the time? Because she was always like leaving her children, going there and acting like I was boring. Like, sorry, I'm a homebody that stands by her man and keeps the house clean and tries to be reliable. I don't want to come home and then he's so mad he moved out like her men do. And some of these women, they go really fanatical, guys, they can really go off the deep edge, and I'm worried for her. It's crazy. They know not what they do. They forgot that verse. So right here, it says it's a major ancient Egyptian deity who appears as a member of the Hermopolitan Ogdoad. And then I went into that, guys. You don't even know the pictures you get with that one. Look at that, the fish head. Oh, I found Kermit the Frog. I found some entities that were on, on my own. Sometimes I get up, I just scroll, and it's okay, one thing leads to another, right? It's like what writers do. And I like archiving my stuff, guys, because it does help. Writers, how they'll record their voices and stuff, like business people. So look, Og, oh man, we've heard that term in the Bible, right? Amun was attested from the Old Kingdom together with his wife, and I went into that a little bit, Amenet, with the 11th dynasty. Amun rose to the position of patron deity of Thebes by replacing Montu, which was a falcon god of war. After the rebellion of Thebes against the Hyksos, which they say these were the Israelites, right? So it even went into, your all's history, so you get all these, like mergers and stuff. So, hey, that's for the Israelites to teach, sure. And with the rule of Ahmose I, Amun, which they say 16th century BC, Amun acquired national importance expressed in his fusion with the sun god Ra. Remember that name, Ra. It's going to come up in that little podcast with those two hens clucking. As Amun Ra, alternatively spelled Amun Ra or Amun Re. Amun Ra retained chief importance in the Egyptian pantheon throughout the New Kingdom, with the exception of the Atenist heresy, they say, under Akhenaten. Amun Ra, in this period, 6th to 11th century BC, held the position of transcendental, self-created creator deity par excellence. He was the champion of the poor, or troubled and central to personal piety. With Osiris, Amun Ra is the most widely recorded of the Egyptian gods. I bet he is. We're still hearing about him. As the chief deity of the Egyptian empire, Amun Ra also came to be worshipped outside Egypt, according to the testimony of ancient Greek historians in Libya and Nubia, as Zeus Amun. He came to be identified with Zeus in Greece. See? Pretty wild stuff. Just a little bit here, I'll read. Amun and Amunat mentioned in the old Egyptian pyramid texts. You learn a lot from those. The coffin text, right? Book of the Dead. We're trying to be in the Book of Life, y'all. They're written in the Book of the Dead. I'm trying to not be in that book. The name Amun written in meant something like the hidden one or invisible. The statue, got your idols, because you got the three, right? Because always like Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. And of course, you can't get away from Italy. Italy. Statue of Ramses, because Italy's close to Africa, duh. With Amun and Mut at the Museo Egizio of Turin. There was like a Turin or Turan kings list that came up. That was interesting. Turin, Italy. Oh, it's like the name of my son, Terrell. I can't. Terrell! There's a fallen angel with that name, too. But you got this, and the great inscription. I mean, you could really go into their hieroglyphs. Because I learn a lot just for going down there. Like, I like learning other languages. Some people know, like, 5 or 6 languages, imagine. So if you really want to, like, stretch your mind, it's the best thing. So, like, let's just go back, because I don't want to go too far off. I do have so many links. Unbelievable. Don't want to make this, like, a 2-hour vid, because it could be. But I don't want to get away from this, because this was, like, what got me to, like, go down some of these names. And I just wanted to show people, like, you see how, it really is a spiritual divide, and it can happen with your own clan, too.
Nothing is too big, and nothing is too small. If it's in your heart and on your mind, God wants to show up, and I'm asking and I'm touching and agreeing right now with Pastor Victoria and Josh, and we are believing with you that God will do it.
Touch and agree, y'all. Everybody's Pastor Josh all the time. They always want to be Joshua, right, in the Bible. It's always Pastor Josh, Pastor Josh. And be careful, because even with that Jenny Speaks, the one that is like super, super she is super popular, this one. This is the one because, your own family, you know how they say strangers are nicer than your own family? Yeah. They won't support anything that you're doing, but they'll support these people because they have a large forum and they have a very witch vibe. I've been telling people I'm really sensitive to that because I've been around real life witches, and she says all the time, I pray over all my stuff. They have like a shop in Florida, so who knows who's sponsoring them. I mean, I make my products and I got to sell them on eBay and stuff. Like, I don't have all that, so Excuse me, I ain't bougie. And this is her husband. He looks like a goon. But like, yeah, so she, you got these prophetesses. I never encourage any of these freaks to, I don't say, oh, women should be teaching, they should be doing all this, because they really get caught up. And it can be like a form of witchcraft. So I'm trying to find Upper in Egypt, because you get the white and the red. I was noticing from these hats, these Hedjets, which is the formal name for the white crown of pharaonic Upper Egypt. After the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt, it was combined with the Deshret, the red crown of Lower Egypt, to form the Peshent. So I had to look that up, the double crown of Egypt. Because they're all about getting those crowns on their head. They're like, we're going to get a crown. We all want to be crowned. So you get the white there, right? And then I had the red. Because then you go to Lower Egypt, and then you get this little number. And you get that swirl, right? So you got that. So I'm like, oh, probably the red and white. Because you see a lot of nations with the red and white flag. I mean, that can take you down wherever, Libyans and stuff. So you got your little African references. And then I went into this name, which that came up, right? Which was like the crown, both of them put together. So when you see like the flags with the red and white, this could be something, just in the event of not making this like uber long, because I just want to put this in between because of that clip that I saw. We'll go into more other topics. This is a dynamic channel. I always said that. I don't like just talking about one thing anyway. But like, I do like talking, exposing Christianity, because I was raised in it, and that's what led me onto my whatever. Because you got to question it. You got to be, as a so-called child, why? Why is this like that? Why is that? They tell you to just shut the hell up and believe. Believe. It's a psychosis. It's it's like witchcraft. So the Peshent, the double crown. I don't know if anybody ever saw that picture. It looks like a bowling ball, guys, right? With that swirly swirl. We've seen a lot of entities in all that picture, right? They say sometimes that's like a portal. We know the ancient Egyptians knew all about this stuff anyway. So the Shent, maybe it's called, or Skent, was the double crown worn by rulers in ancient Egypt. The ancient Egyptians generally referred to it as Shmiti, because it says that to the right, that it looks like it says Shmiti, but over here it looks like it says Sekhmeti, Shmiti. Is that where they get the term Shmiti? The two powerful ones, it combined the white Hedjet crown of Upper Egypt and the red Deshret crown of Lower Egypt. The Peshent represented the pharaoh's power over all of unified Egypt. It bore two animal emblems, an Egyptian cobra, of course, known as the Urias, probably not saying that right, ready to strike. Oh, they're ready, all right. Which symbolized the lower Egyptian goddess Wadjet, and an Egyptian vulture representing the upper Egyptian Tuteli goddess Nekbet. These were fastened to the Peshent. I'm saying it wrong again. Skent, if you say it like that, right? And referred to as the two ladies, y'all. The two ladies. I just learned that 2 years old, guys. 2 years old. So, Lower Egypt, up Memphis, blah, blah, blah. Let's see what else I got for y'all. I don't need to keep all these open because I'll start freezing. So you said you see this red and white. I don't know how close you can see. Let's get this bad boy all up in your grill, right? All up in your business. It's like, oh, this entities, the sun, those toes. It even says, does Jesus' superiority to prove to angels that he is a god? They're not supposed to worship the luminaries. You're not supposed to worship the luminaries. It says right here. Let me go back because it's too big. I try and make this easy. I try to have it all open for you. Bless the rains down in Africa. Unless you lift up your eyes to heaven, and when you see the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the host of heaven. Yeah, you're not supposed to bow down like, and worship them. Deuteronomy 4. And beware not to lift up your eyes to heaven and see the sun and the moon and the stars, all the host of heaven, and be drawn away and worship them and serve them, those which the Lord your God has allotted to all the peoples under the whole of heaven. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 19. And we have a cousin that passed away a few months ago. So this really hit home. I'm not trying to throw shade. Some people are going to be like, ew. Hey, this person wanted to be on camera. I'm sure they're going to, and you have the so-called flying monkeys saying, you are brave. That's my crazy mother. You are brave, Christie. Yeah, you're brave, all right. You got some balls, girl. You got some balls between you and the Most High. You should have did some more studying before you started coming out. Now, I guess they found their forum. You know what I mean? Me, I'm just sitting behind a camera for you guys, right? Like some of us, we're just minding our own business, meditating with the Most High, doing what, some of the people in the book did, and, put your head down and study for a few years, try to learn from, like, the writings of Noah, things like that, Enoch, Abraham, many different sources, like Abel. I like that story with Cain and Abel, in the book of Jasher. But all these books, they will not touch, because they only want that one revised, chopped up, messed up version, which I'm not sure if it was the Masoretes, but we do know that the scribes interjected words when they translated it, right? Okay, obviously we're limited with our language, but we do have eSword, so we can at least go back to the original Hebrew. That's when I knew that my latest, teachers were correct with the Most High's name, because you have to go back to the Hebrew, because, I was close. I was calling on all kind of names, so it was a journey. I had my kids on their knees, my children, sorry, on their knees, praying to Yahweh, thinking that was it. Like, I was on a journey for so long trying to find the name of the Most High, and it was right there, right in our face. We just needed a little, translator to figure it out, to say it in the Hebrew tongue, in the tongue that he spoke to his people, right? So, you got to start there, like common sense, God-given common sense, but there's a blinder over certain people, right? Maybe their wickedness will not let them see, because they act all whatever, but you see them in person, and it's like, so very volatile. Like, they won't even stay with you too long if you don't give all your attention. Like, look up covert female narcissists. They're all over these churches, and they're worse than the male narcissists too, big time. So I wanted to show, like, at the end, because we had a cousin that passed away, and they were basically going into, like, oh, if you just touch and agree and do this and that, like, you'll be healed. And it's like, okay, then what happened to, you guys are calling on the wrong entities, obviously, right? Because, and they, of course, they'll still follow whatever the system tells them to do. They're still all wrapped up in the system. They support the system, and when you do anything outside of the commercial system, they're like, oh, you're weird.
God will do it. God will do it. He is a God that wants to show us how real he is.
And they make it like God's like some punk ass bitch. Like, he's so desperate to impress us and stuff, no matter how wicked we are. So I find it very, very like bold and disrespectful, actually, because they do say be bold, be this, be that. And this lady was going into how, like, her so-called spouse had HIV, and it's like, we already know the deception with the whole term HIV, So they go into it, but at the end, I didn't even watch the whole thing, just the beginning and the end, and it got even more crazy at the end.
He's speaking through you. And truly, that's why it's so important that we just read our word, that we just talk to the Lord, that we come together with other believers that believe. Just this past weekend, we heard a word about how the Lord was going to do a miracle, and he you want to take over on that? How he had his disciples with him.
Okay, all right, these? Yes, okay. So, Jesus, he went to Jairus' house. And so he had his disciples with him. And so Jairus' daughter had died. And so Jesus was like, okay, anybody that don't have faith, I'm paraphrasing, you gotta go. So he had only his disciples in there, the three, that he knew had the same kind of faith he had. Because he understood unbelief and lack of faith can hinder the process. Now we're talking to a Jesus. We're talking about a Jesus all powerful. He can do anything but fail. But he even understood that these things can circuit the power. Short-circuited.
He's demonstrating to us.
Exactly.
He's demonstrating to us.
Exactly.
How that's all he did. He was demonstrating to us. Everything he did was demonstrating to us so that we see that and then we follow. I mean, that was the whole thing of the disciples. They follow what they see their Lord doing, our Lord doing, and yeah. So it's like if we have that kind of faith, but the devil comes against these situations and it has us thinking like, oh, this is hopeless. Oh, if it's the Lord's will, then this will happen. But guess what? At the end of the day, the Lord says it is His will that you be healed. It is His will that He has a hope and a future.
Then why do so many things die? It is His will that the wicked will perish. It is His will. But you can't say anything negative or real to these people. They'll say, no, it's the devil dividing. It's the devil. They call the truth, like, the demonic. Like, these people, like, when they say, like, psychopaths and narcissists, they flip it on you. And you're just like, what the hell just happened here? It's gaslighting, right? And, okay, she prayed over, because even in that Jenny character, the one that has the store in Florida and all that she tried to put me onto, and I could just tell right away. Because I can recognize as real. I'm like, oh, no, you don't. They pray over their products, like when you buy it. That's why sometimes when you buy certain things, you're going to feel different after and sick and hopeless and all kind of shit. That putting on the hands, you don't want that. Because I had a cousin, she put her hands on me and she tried to do all this, alaikum, blah, 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 like all this tongue shit, not realizing that just meant different languages, right? And I was like messed up for like years. I think she put a curse on me, the freaking bitch. These people, like, they'll smile on your face. If you say something that's a little crass, they're like, yeah, the Lord don't speak to thee or to do this or that. Like, no, you don't freaking talk to me. It just leads me to, like, what has common sense. These people want magic tricks. A miracle. I seen a sign in someone's yard that said miracles are coming. Yeah, you're going to get your miracle, all right. You're probably going to end up in a ditch somewhere, that bullshit. But you see how they're like, let's touch and agree. So I don't listen to the radio. This is another thing, too, to warn people. Like, it's good to listen to podcasts. Some of our videos are long. I like, because there's actual wires and different adapters you can put in your car that you can plug it right into your phone as it's playing, and it'll go right through your speakers. So if you don't want, I always don't like earphones in my ear because the earwax and you got to clean it. But like that way you just like do because you put on the radio station and it's propaganda after propaganda. And even over here, I'm not sure, it's something love station. It's a Bobo Christian station, and you're just like, oh, it makes you sick. It's distracting. If anything, don't listen to anything, because putting a radio in these cars when it doesn't help a car move, right? It was all to distract you. How many accidents happen because people are distracted in the car? So sometimes I just like it off. I like to hear the car. Sometimes you'll hear like a weird noise. You might have to check it out. So it's kind of good just to be in silence. These people don't want to be in silence. They have to be in their cult groups because they're like, it's not good to be alone. Whatever. Well, anyway, my our cousin, that this one was like, Jesus wants you to live and all this stuff. They ran through the system, got chemotherapy, which of course we don't advocate here. I expose the big pharma and the chemical industrial complex as much as I can without being shadow banned. She was dead in 3 months. So it's like, yeah, it was probably the Most High's will, because she was also a pagan. These are just pagans. And they come in all colors, right?
for us.
Amen.
It is His will that we walk in all that He has for us, and it is His will that we must come together with people that have a like-minded faith, a faith that believes that God can do all things. Because if you don't do that and you just isolate and just start believing the lies of the devil that this is just the way it's supposed to be, this is just how it is, no, we have to fight. There's like a fight that must crawl out from within us. And
ooh, that was scary. She said that. It sounds so Constantine. Crawl out of hell. It's crawl. Sometimes you just gotta sit back and let people dig their own grave. So this is, this was my bestie at one point, but hey, if you gotta go your own way, like that song, On My Own Again. How many of us have been through that?
Just literally get the hem of the garment of the Lord and be no, I will not give up.
Yeah. And also, as you read down in Psalms 91, it tells us that no evil disease will cleave to our bodies. And so, when you get that in your head, and then when you're going through something yourself mentally and physically, like I was going through something, and you can find the strength to pray.
The strength. Doesn't it make you think, remember that show in Living Color with those guys, Anton, like they were, it's raining men, and he's like, oh, is it Damon Wayans? He's like, the strength. Oh, it's the other one, right?
The strength to encourage people. That's when your true healing comes in, because you're getting the attention off you and letting that devil know you can't even take my life because you only got the keys to your own kingdom.
Amen.
And so
oh, exactly. Who really has the keys to hell?
When God used you as a person to demonstrate His glory,
amen,
then why am I worried about an evil disease?
Right.
Why am I worried about something cleaving to my body? I can't.
Yep.
I can't. And so we can't worry, we can't fear. Because the Bible also says in Job, what you fear will come upon you.
Be it unto the way you think.
Everything that Job feared came on him. And so now understand, fear, if I fear that I'm going to die, guess what's going to happen? If I fear that I'm going to fail, guess what's going to happen? If I fear that I'm going to get sick, guess what's going to happen?
So it had nothing to do with Job's children being wicked, though, right? It was just fear.
No, because the Bible says now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
Amen. Amen.
And so although I was walking through the valley of the shadow of death, I didn't fear evil.
Amen.
I didn't fear. There's a lot of stuff that, because God started bringing people to me.
Okay.
And so I didn't have time to even think about myself. And I got these 6 babies.
Wow.
I got to take care of my babies, and they're grown, but they're still my babies.
Right.
Just like we're grown, but we're still our Father's baby.
Hallelujah. Amen. Amen.
Hallelujah. Hello. How many names are they bringing up here?
And He fight for us, and He war for us, because that's what love do. And so as believers, if we can just get the concept of how Jesus loved, how God loved us, first off, and then how Jesus loved, we'll separate all hate from this world.
Hallelujah. Pastor Victoria, if you would pray for anyone right now, whether they be in their car or their house, on a walk, would you please pray, and as we all here today come in agreement with whatever it is, whether it be affliction, whether it be a heart that needs to be mended, whether it be forgiveness.
Remember, it all comes with agreement. This is a voluntary system. You do not agree, okay? Once you agree, they got demonic jurisdiction. These people used to try to force me into their prayer circles. I mean, I didn't feel I didn't feel any warm sensation. I didn't feel like, your instinct tells you, sometimes it was downright terrifying.
Can you just please pray over the listeners at this moment?
Okay. So, Father God, in the name of Jesus, we just thank you for who you are. God, we call upon you as Jehovah Gabor. We call upon you as
Jehovah Gabor. Who the hell is that? I looked up Gabor. It means Gabriel. More angel worship here. So, where are these names coming from?
Jehovah Rapha right now, God. God, we
Jehovah Rapha? Ra? Did we just hear Ra? Ra? Huh. I'll let that play through, guys.
I'm in agreement with whatever it is, whether it be affliction, whether it be a heart that needs to be mended, whether it be forgiveness. Can you just please pray over the listeners at this moment?
Okay. So, Father God, in the name of Jesus, we just thank you for who you are. God, we call upon you as Jehovah Gabor. We call upon you as Jehovah Rapha right now, God. God, we ask that anybody's heart is broken. God, we ask that you mend it. God, we ask that if there's any sickness in their bodies.
I can't even listen to this junk. These freaking kindred spirit witches. WAPN 91.5. Shush. This is on Facebook. This is on Facebook. I don't want to hear this lady anymore. Her name is Victoria Williams. Okay, Victoria Williams. That was this lady. So what did I have open? Just a couple of things. We've already seen that. I'm sure you can find that on your own. I can click out of this lady, just this location. Justia, that name's come. So I was looking up the churches of Africa a little bit. And 10 religious structures came up. This was pretty wild. I'm sure anybody can find this. Just showing like some of the influence in Africa. You got the Great Mosque. Let's see if I can put some of these pictures up. We know Christianity is huge. It's like the dominant religion over there. And so there's a lot of history there. You got the Great Mosque of Djeni in Mali is among the most astonishing buildings in the world. It is pretty weird, huh? The mosque, which is considered one of the great creations of the Sahelian architecture, was entirely built from mud, making it the world's largest mud brick building. It's pretty cool, huh? So you go in, you got the Ben Ezra, I get that name, Ezra Synagogue. Of course, Egypt was once home to a thriving Jewish communities. And then it says following the mass exodus, okay, the Ashkenazi, right? I get it. The numbers have dwindled to less than 50, but the physical remainders of the North African country's rich Jewish history remains. Egypt is dotted with synagogues that attest to its Jewish past. One of these houses of worship is the 9th Ben Ezra Synagogue, originally a Christian church in the 9th century. So you got Church of St. George. Even this is a very popular name that's been passed down. I had an uncle named that. So you got the town of Labella, Ethiopian, is known for its extraordinary rock-hewn churches created between the 12th and 11th century. You got this basilica I've noticed here too. I was like, okay there. Yamoussoukro Basilica, just like in Rome, right? We've seen that in the U.S. Capitol. The city of Yamoussoukro and Cody, and there's people with that name, Cody, everywhere. White people too. Diavori, because my sister married, of course, a Josh. This is his last name, so that's a new surname now. Is home to one of the most significant churches in the world, the Yamoussoukro Basilica, also known as Our Lady of Peace of Yamoussoukro Basilica. Wow. It says, is the world's, I didn't even know, largest Christian church, having surpassed St. Peter's in the Vatican upon its completion in 1989. I want to put up that as my thumbnail. I don't want people thinking, The Yamoussoukro Basilica was constructed with marble imported from Italy, and boasts 5,000 shades of stained glass windows from France. Each of the church's 7,000 seats has its own conditioning system. Nan-Hua Temple even. Wow, look at that architecture. You know, and this is in South Africa, guys, you know? So, wow. It's the largest Buddhist temple and seminary in Africa. The Nan-Hua Temple is the African headquarters of the Fu Guanshan, a Chinese Buddhist monastic order. The Braun Horspruit City Council donated the land to build the sanctuary in 1992. You got the Monastery of St. Anthony, and we have a lot of buildings like this. You know, we got the two. We've seen that in a lot of churches, right? I guess it's the old wall. So you got the oldest, a lot of things, oldest monastery in the world. So we can see why these Christian cults go there so much. Big following there. Okay, you got the Great Mosque of Quran here. It's on the UNESCO World Heritage Site of Kouan, Tunisia, harbors one of the most significant mosques in the world. The Great Mosque of Quran, founded in 670, is a treasure trove of history and is at the heart of the city's heritage. The mosque also enjoys recognition as the oldest Muslim place of worship in Africa. Ooh, you got the Church of Our Lady, Mary of Zion. First time I'm hearing about it. Ethiopia's Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion is one of the most famous churches in the world for a few reasons. It's a historical treasure believed to have been built in the 4th century during the reign of Izana, the first Christian king of Ethiopia. The church, located in the heritage city of Aksum, has been rebuilt several times since then. It says, but despite its rich history, perhaps one thing that has made the structure known the world over is its claim that the church is in possession of the Ark of the Covenant. The legendary Ark is the gold-covered wooden chest that contains the 10 Commandments written on 2 stone tablets. For centuries, the holy object was kept in the Temple of King Solomon in Jerusalem. So how did it end up in Ethiopia, it says? According to the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion, the object was taken to the East African country during the reign of King Menelik I, believed to be the son of the superbly wise King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. That's their claim. I can't verify. It's interesting, just these pictures, right? Nizamiyai Mosque, located in Johannesburg, South Africa. It is believed to be the biggest mosque complex, in the southern hemisphere. This religious center was built by Turkish businessman and philanthropist Ali Triglu in 2012. You got this one. You got these little, looks like a pumpkin up top, huh? Yuma Masjid Mosque, Mauritius. The island nation of 1.2 million people is made up of diverse traditions and religions, including Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, and others. One of the most prominent religious buildings in the Indian Ocean is the Juma Masjid Mosque. Makes me think of Jumanji. Unmissable in the capital Port Louis. Formerly known as the Mosque of the Arabs, the edifice was built in the 1850s, combining Indian, Creole, and Islamic agriculture. As the Muslim population grew in Port Louis, a larger mosque was needed. So in 1857, more land was brought by Muslim merchants, leading to the expansion of the Jumani Masjid Mosque. So pretty wild pictures, huh, guys? I'll put this if you want. It's just pretty, even some of those names, I may want to keep this as a reference because some things actually stood out. And just knowing that some of these old, some of the oldest known religious institutions, of course, are over there. I just thought this one was, it's pretty beautiful, even though it's scary with these idols. So it's the largest Buddhist temple in Africa, of course. But Africa has a lot, just this right here, and it has the name Cody. That stood out because my sister's husband's family name. Huh. 10 religious structures in Africa. So we have that. I don't want to keep you here all day. With some of that other stuff, I ended up to this stone as well. Just going to some of the Egyptology stuff with the Amuns. You got a fragment of the royal annals on display at the Petrie Museum in London. Got a lot of different artifacts here. So this right itself could be its own thing because I guess this was part of their royal annals. Of course, it's housed in Palmiro, Italy. The Palmiro stone, if anyone is into that stuff. Because it went to the Turin Kings. Is that does it show up here? The Turin King, that's where it's so the Turin King list comes up. Is an ancient Egyptian hieratic papyrus thought to date from the reign of Pharaoh Ramses II. So hey man, this Christianity business, you start finding yourself in Africa and Egypt, and you need to get yourself the e-sword if you don't have it, because this is free. Anybody can see. You go to Exodus 3:14, because the Most High said his name. And we were trying, it was like a puzzle we were trying to figure out, right? So those who think, oh, they're so spiritual, well, you can't just read it verbatim, dummy. You gotta, look at it spiritually. What language, you have to, reverse engineer. So, Exodus chapter 3, verse 14, that's how I knew some of my teachers were on point, because you got to verify your own information. You're not supposed to just look at your guru like some lord. You heard how, my cousin was like, we got to follow like a disciple, follower, just think of people following each other on social media and taking people's word at face value and almost getting a psychotic tendency in affiliation. I respect people I learn from. Do I sweat them like that? F no. That's stupid. That's now you lost the track of what you were gaining the truth for. It's supposed to be closer to the Most High, right? Not angel worship, man worship, woman, none of that stuff. So it says, and God said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am has sent me unto you. So all you had to do, which a lot of people are showing, if you don't have the Strong's Concordance, they'll say Heya, Hebrew H1961. Okay, so it would be Heya, Heya. That's why I appreciate my teachers who put me on, because I was on that road forever. And it's okay, they don't understand the words that they speak. In one breath they're talking about the Most High, then they got Jesus, then they're saying all these Hebrew terms that they have no knowledge of what those Hebrew terms are actually saying. You see Jay-Z, he's like, Hove, Hova, that means wickedness or ruin. If you have a Strong's Concordance, again, you have to go. So in that little spiel that we just watched with this, they went to how many different entities, guys? How many different? First you got Jesus, then you got Amun, then you got Halal, then you got Rafa. It's is that Raphael that I'm almost trying to say? Gabor. Where did I even find the Gabors? My camera not going to work because it's fresh today. It's alright. I'm trying to show you everything I got because I'm going to have to stop closing some of this down. So I go to meaning of Gabor. And then if you just like start scrolling, this is Gabriel over here. I don't know if you can see. So it's like, oh, I'll go into another vid because I was looking at a lot of paintings from Michelangelo and stuff. Because, you know, Christians love these names to name their children. So Gabriel, and it says here, it's a Hungarian name too, from Hebrew Geber, man or man of God. My God is my strength. So, but still, it's like a man or a lesser deity, right? It's not the most high. Teddy, bro. How do you say teddy, bro? Let's show you. I like it because I come over here. You're like, what does that mean? I'm like, it means terrible, but they have other words too. I like saying things in other languages. It's just fun. Oh, you're not going to play now? They're fresh. It was playing before. So it was like, this was a funny word. Mosh. Mosh. Huh. I guess it got stuck. Because you're fresh.
Terrible.
Terrible. You are terrible.
Terrible.
And it says mosh. I like this one, how it sounds too. I'm going to start saying some of these words.
Épouvantable.
Épouvantable. Épouvantable. I how this word.
Moche.
Mush. Mush. When you want to call something ugly, tacky, horrible. They're so sorry or they're a bum.
Moche.
Mush. You're so mush, Teddy, bruh. That's what I want to say about those ladies talking about that shit. You know, because they forgot about this old verse. I'm going to start closing these out. You know, not supposed to worship the damn luminaries, guys. Definitely not. Get rid of that. You got all this Lupercalia stuff too, because the energy was just in the air. They're talking about miracle Mondays, miracle Mondays, and I'm just like, I can't with you guys. But, oh, I didn't show you this real quick. Just to show you how it started getting really weird, guys. It started getting nuts. Some of these pictures. I'll probably put that Jesus picture with the red and white as the thumbnail. Because this will show you how it led to the Egyptian stuff. And then, you know, bada bing, bada boom. And I gotta close out. So I knew this was gonna be a long vid. That's okay. I had to get this off my chest. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's gonna be like some type of, false prophetess out there. I gotta let people know, like, this is the kind of shit that's gonna keep happening if we don't at least just wanted to show that there's other nations, they come together under the wrong pretenses. Just like in Hollywood, you'll get the light and the dark together working for the wrong side, you know? So that's all I was trying to drive home. But this is a crazy reference, right? A depiction from the Ogdoad from a Roman-era relief at the Hathor Temple and Dendera, in which some have frog heads and others have serpent heads. I'm like, of course. Look at that picture. Ooh, this is so weird. I love it. I love weird stuff. References to the Ogdoad date to the Old Kingdom of Egypt. Oh, let me go back because there were 8 primordial deities they worship in. This Ogdoad probably worshipped in Hermopolis. You got the term hermaphrodite in there too. There was a lot of funny business. And even at the time of composition of the pyramid text, that's a great source, toward the end of the Old Kingdom, they appear to have been antiquated and mostly forgotten by everyone except their theologians. They are frequently mentioned in the coffin text of the Middle Kingdom. The oldest known pictorial representations of the groups do not predate the time of Seti, when the group appears to be rediscovered by the theologians of Hermopolis. Just look at some of that stuff. Oh yeah, Kermit the Frog. Look at these people, they're funny. That all came from like going down the roads with the upper and lower Egypt with these colors even. And the Amun character, Because you see how they talk, and then they're like, oh, you know. I should put his picture up over here. I'll put the Jesus one with the red and white, because that has a nice little, like, you know, I like to give a little method for my madness, you know. And again, this is not to throw shade at my cuz or anything like that. You know, you still have love for these people, even though they're lost in the source. But I don't like them misleading other people. I don't like them trying to say your truth is trash when they claim that, you know, they're being led by an entity. They're being led by entities, all right, but it ain't the same frequency we're trying to be on. You know, you feel me? It's not the same frequency. And a lot of us, you know, we came to YouTube and we came to these forums to try to find our own tribe and our own spiritual community to, you know, say the truth, help each other with law stuff, just be allies, just, you know what I mean? Just, you know, we all make our own products too. Some people make t-shirts, others make this and that. I rather support those type of people than some of these fools, because in my family, it's, if you're in pharmakia, they're thinking you're so holy than thou. They forgot the verse too that says, you know, that these angels, you know, the devil appears as an angel of light. It's like, you know, really, like, they have no self-awareness when they're like, amen. She's like, amen. Doesn't she sound like every other bobo southern, you know, freaking chick, Christian chick that is just like, I'm like, you listen to way too much K-Love or whatever channel you're watching. Teddy, bro. But can you expect anything else? I mean, the moon yesterday, did you see how full this moon was? I mean, I looked in the sky yesterday, and I'm like, there's so much stuff going in the air. I'm sure people can feel it. Oh, you want to block me? We will not be dissuaded. But if you look at the history of Lupercalia, true love, yeah. So I learned a lot of good stuff. Like, you know, I'm not part of any groups or anything. I just did that Hebrew Academy, but I learned a lot from those teachers just about like the pagan origin of a lot of things. And I bought that Pagan Book of Days book. And yeah, Lupercalia definitely comes up, right? And we forget like the pink and all that. And I could just feel like this weird energy, and it was dark and it's ugly. And you try to expose any of that, and people are like, oh, it's the devil. You know, you got to be happy, happy, joy, joy all the time. Like, it's not realistic. It's not, you know, you're supposed to be mad and afflict your soul and sigh and be vexed at all the you know, the wickedness in the world. Is supposed to be the righteous versus the wicked at this point. You know, that's my opinion. But in ancient Rome, Feast of Lupercal, beginning after the ritual sacrifice, when the Feast of Lupercal was over, the Luperci, oh, let me go back. This was like really weird, this ritual sacrifice part. It said, because it's about a she-wolf and the Roman fertility god Lupercus, like that Lu name again. Lupercalia rituals took place in a few places. Lupercal Cave on Palatine Hill and within the Roman open air public meeting place called the Comitium. The festival began at the Lupercal Cave with the sacrifice of one or more male goats, a representation of sexuality, and a dog. The sacrifices were performed by Luperci or Luperci, a group of Roman priests. Afterwards, the foreheads of two naked Luperci were smeared with the animal's blood using the bloody sacrificial knife. The blood was then removed with a piece of milk-soaked wool as the Luperci laughed. And you see in a lot of these albums and music videos, they're like doing that milk bath, milk baptism that has a lot of implications. And it was just making me think, because I had quite, am I frozen? Sometimes I do, I don't care. I don't care, y'all. Let's see, did I get all my points that I was trying to hit for you all? Probably. Because the moon phase, guys. Have you seen the moon? I guess it'll be full in 2 days too, and a lot of these rituals that they do will be around this time. So like I said in the beginning of my vid, I'm just, cause like February 14th, how was that one? Because I know it was big. Most of you guys probably recognize it. I am like that cat. I can feel the ghouly ghoul energy. Like I can tell when people are gonna go or whatever. And it happens in a couple of my family instances, and I'm like, yeah, if everything you guys are saying is so true, why didn't she lay her magical hands in my, these people that, drop dead in my family? But it seems the more they push the stuff, the more death and destruction they spread everywhere, right? And if Christianity was away, why does Africa have so many problems? You know what I mean? What the hell is going on here, right? And it shows you that Amun, the Berber, king. So yeah, it shows like history of my ancestors too. And I try to tell her about her ancestry. She's like, ooh, she's so Europeanized. Like she don't even understand. It was like the Portuguese who were the oppressor, but that's fine. She wants to rep that. So it says wax and gibbous. So in 2 days, it's going to be full, guys. So if you feel the energy, what are you going to do? What's you going to do? So you got the upper, lower Egypt. You went into how Florida full of Scientology because this is in Miami. She's in Orlando, but I got family in Boynton Beach, West Palm, all that shit. I got a niece in Miami too. But look at that place. Scientology. Look at that place. It's like a big ass compound, right? Look how huge that thing is. And they control like all of Florida, so I'm pretty sure that they're all connected. Because, modern science now is basically, belief system. And then you got Scientology. There's plenty of Bible verses that talk about not worshiping the luminary and those who seek a sign. Yeah, what's really going to happen. I'll have to go into this another time just to give you a little taste of what I was looking into, because I want to go into the law, want to do this, want to do that. Did I have Michelangelo stuff open? Because I was looking at some of these paintings, and even the character Michelangelo is a very curious character, and in his paintings, like he superimposed himself also in a lot of these paintings. I don't know why I had such a weird thought about the Mona Lisa maybe being like an image of the beast, because a lot of people say it was a self-portrait and then he like transgendered himself in the picture or whatever, and she got that little smirk. So I'm like, there's more roads to go down, but of course this is gonna start acting the fool. I gotta close out. Almost 12:30, guys. Ay. She can talk. At least I feel like I'm more natural, I'm more relatable. I think so, because when I try to teach my cousin, she's too like always playing a role. They're always performing. It's always like, oh, I gotta act this, but it's not genuine. It wasn't authentic. Because I'm like, I thought you wanted to learn the Bible together. I thought you were, but no. They want you to go through their cult mentality. They want you to bend the knee to this Lady Justice Jesus character. Look at all the oppression. Didn't people get enslaved in the name of Jesus? Of course, this Michelangelo painting does not want to come up because I was looking into the Last Judgment painting. Alright, it don't want to work. This time for another video, another time. That's just fine. Maybe if I can find it in the images. Because even going down some of these roads, it started going one way or another. I think in music too. So there's just, I don't know if this was the one, because he made a lot of universal judgment. I think he put himself in here too. So in a lot of these paintings, it's very esoteric, like you really got to dissect it. But again, more luminary worship. We weren't supposed to do that, guys. Weren't supposed to do that. And just be on the lookout for this Jenny Weaver's character. Oh, she's big. You go on Facebook. I mean, I have my business page. That's all I go on there for. I'm known as Dia Dash. I don't want them trolling me. It's, oh, you got a demon. I gotta lay hands on you. And like, meanwhile, you're like completely, you're being afflicted. You can't sleep. You can't eat. You're nervous. You're confused. Like, that's witchcraft. I mean, these are straight witches. And I know this one's like a full-blown witch. I'll listen to some of their stuff, and on Facebook, they're really making a following. And I guess she flaunts her leprosy. I guess you're supposed to get healed by that, right? It's not all one color. You know what I mean? I mean, she's a beautiful woman, but... And she doesn't hide the fact that she used to be a witch, but I think she still is a witch. Because a lot of times they'd be like, I used to be this, but... Still practicing. Of course, she was still doing Christmas, selling all these t-shirts that say Jesus, 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 Jesus. She's on stage with ripped jeans. I mean, these are not the apparel that women are supposed to wear. And again, let the men do like the heavy teaching. I have my lanes that I go in. If you come on my channel, you learn a little something extra. Hey, kudos to you, you know, because this... for any YouTuber, this is really our form for our own self-study. Like, I'll go back to my older videos. I like putting certain links because I'll forget. And it kind of gives you a timeline of, like, what kind of stuff you were going into. So the next one will be more of, like, a law vid. I do holistic stuff. I expose a lot of the toxins that are in our products, you know. It just depends what I'm inspired to do that day, right? And like when I saw this, I had to say something. I'm like, oh, now we got this going on. I'm like, of course she was gonna go to her direction, and I just made I wonder if she's gonna start a YouTube channel. Who knows, guys? Who knows? But hey, I'm not hating. The Most High is hating, and she needs to get right with the Most High. And I've been telling her that. I'm like, it's not about us coming and agreeing to your false god. It's you foregoing the lies of your ancestors and cleaving to the Hebrews for knowledge. And I was trying to introduce her to some of the Hebrews, but she was all high and mighty about it. She's like, ew, they don't know what they're talking about, like kind of stuff. Like, I'm like, but there is an audience that is working together. There is a group, many different nations working together. Psalms 83, wherever, you know, they're working together for the wrong side. So hopefully, you know, we can do the same for the Most High too, right? Because it is supposed to be about the righteous against the wicked, you know. And I do acknowledge the Israelites. I don't take their promises for myself or anything. These churches do that. They claim all these promises and stuff, and it's like the Gentiles have their little slice, but you can't take away from, you know, God's people, the real Israelites. So I hope this was interesting, guys. This was just really great. They all talk alike too. They really all talk alike. This is her mother, which is like my witchy aunt, Cindy. You see how they talk? They're like double-minded. Yes, of course. Palm Coast, Florida, y'all. Yeah, big realtor, big in the, you know, they're very well known. They do meet a lot of people, very social. They come across you sweet as pie, but that pie is poison, so you be careful now. You see all the love they get, right? But they ascribe these luminaries, and they try to give them the status of the Most High. You heard how they read the book of Psalms, and then went into their loop-de-loops, right? All into other directions to Egypt entities. That was pretty wild, right? So, Tadibla is all I can say, as that that robot was saying. Have a wonderful day, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Trying to figure out, like, what do I put? That would have to be the picture, right? The first Jesus picture. But yeah, Lady Justice, that red and white flag. Because you see it with the Swiss, Red Cross, they're all that bloody Mary. They want your bloody. You know, a lot of people put up vids about that too. Of course, now I lost my little thingy thing. So I'll put this up, you know, just to show the Christianity link. So, you know, you can see how, you know, for anybody in the Christian church, give a little bit of my anecdotal stories of how I was led to come out, and that you can be in the same family, you can be in the same group, but have different allegiances. You know, it really is that time. So have a wonderful day, and stay with the true Most High. Higher.